Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your April 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right, let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Scorpio be affected by the April 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the April 2021 full moon? How will Scorpio be affected by the April 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels. And spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. Okay, so the left-hand side is the inner self. Excuse me. The left-hand side is the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Nine of Cups. We have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. On the 26th of May, the full moon will be in Sagittarius. Now, on the 26th of April, the full moon is in Scorpio. So Scorpio, this is not only a full moon, but it's a super moon. It's in your sign. This is intensity, like compounded. It's like intensity upon intensity upon intensity. So there really is this real sense of power here. And it lasts, as we can see, into the full moon in May on the 26th. Then we have the King of Pentacles. That's Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. On the 11th of May, we have the new moon in Taurus. So that energy is going to be very prosperous for us as well. Then we have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Let's move these down so that you can see better. Okay. We have the Two of Cups, unity, but also a unit. Like, there can be two people that work really, really well together. You can work really well with somebody else, or you're doing something, you enter into something, and there are these two people that just are like these rocks. Or it can also be for some, okay, Spirit said, like, as they're your rocks, there are also for some, there's like, this is how I want to have my relationship. Like, this is my role model. This can be the model for relationships. This can be the model for, work, for productivity, for prosperity. It's for relationships. Okay, so we have the Four of Wands, which is one of the marriage cards. It's a marriage card. It's a celebration card. It's a prosperous card. We then have the Emperor, not Earth sign energy, Aries energy, time frame, May 21st to April 19th. And then we have the Knight of Swords. I love that the Knight is running to the Queen. It's like, I will defend you. I will protect you. The Queen of Swords doesn't really need defending. She is the warrior queen, so she got this. She has this. But there's this real sense of I am protecting what is intrinsically important to me, and my heart is protecting what is intrinsically important to me, my emotions, myself. So the heart and the mind work in tandem. We have the Queen of Cups. This is water sign energy. This is you, Scorpio, coming through. This can also be Pisces and Cancer. But because we have the full moon in Scorpio, this is a sense of prosperity and success. It really does, bringing forward something very creative, bringing something forward in the world. We have healing coming, and we have gifts of prosperity, of passion, of desire coming forward. So it really does look like there is a lot that comes to the table during this time. Now we're going to let the moon speak for herself as we start. So we're going to begin with the moon, and we're going to end with the moon. And what's really beautiful about this moon is that it's the pink moon, named by the Native Americans for the flowers that, awaken during this time. So it really is beautiful. It's about awakening. It's about beauty. It's about coming together. If we're in the southern hemisphere, and it's moving into winter, it's about contemplation, but also still on beauty, still letting the beauty, still seeing the beauty within the world. So let's see what this moon has to offer us. Angels, right there. Awesome. So we're starting here with trust, fear, and extremes. That makes perfect sense. Will, fruition, and blossoming. So that's the flower moon. That's this moon right here. So that's really cool. So what is here and what is coming forward is this sense of the Scorpio energy really being so prevalent. So the trust, the thing that comes up with this moon is like, can I trust? Issues around trust, around control, and around power come forward. And we're thinking, can I trust? Can I move forward? Do I know what I want? Do I know where I need to be? So trust is a huge thing for us during this time, and it will carry through to the 26th of May. So there is going to be a sense here of, I have blessings, I have prosperity, I have this. I'm not able to see it. And it might not be the blessings and the prosperity the way that we would want it to be. It may not be the really big bank account. It could be something more subtle that we don't think is worth anything, but really has this tremendous value to it. Divinity looks at it and thinks that's gold. So that's something to be aware of here. Also the trusting of ourselves during this time, because our issues around trust come forward, and also because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So this brings forward the idea of death, rebirth, and regeneration to the forefront of our minds. As a Scorpio, this is always on the forefront of our minds. It's like all is flux and nothing stays the same. Plato said that, and it is true for us always. So there is this constant sense of change, of evolution, of metamorphosis, and this is going to be intrinsically important during this time. We can view this moon phase as a failure if we do not properly change, if we do not properly evolve into the power, into the understanding that we so want. So here, having that trust within ourselves is going to be so important. Also knowing that during this time of the full moon, the full moon is squared Saturn in Aquarius with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus conjunct Uranus. So what this means is that Saturn energy is intense, and Saturn energy calls us to be very stoic, to be very much like, I can do this on my own. And if we were raised this way, that says you have to handle things by yourself, don't ask for help, keep on going, keep on moving forward, it does not matter, it's all on your shoulders. This is going to be amplified, and this could be something that we're working on. It could be like, I don't want to have to handle everything by myself. I want to have a community. I want to have, people around me, understanding around me, to be able to brighten my world. So this is going to be a time where that energy comes forward. And what happens is that with it being in Aquarius mellows it out a bit. So when we see our fears, it's like, I have to handle this all on my own. But Aquarius comes in and it's like, no, you don't. This is self-contemplative. This is a sense of, How do I move forward? How do I connect with a group? How do I want to be? Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I desire? Where is the eccentric within me? And how can I let that come forward? So here with fear, what we look at within this moon is like, what am I fearing that is keeping me from my goals, that is keeping me from the unity that I want, that is keeping me held back, small, scared, alone? So we have the fear, and it almost feels, and this is part of our public persona, is that like we're moving forward, right? And we're birthing something into the world. We're creating something quite beautiful and brilliant. And for a lot of us, we're afraid that we're going to keep on creating the same fear that we have lived in for too long. Or we create something beautiful and we're just waiting for the shoe to drop. We're just waiting for everything to fail. So that is going to be something that becomes very much, an awareness of us during this time. We become aware of. This leads us to extremes. During this time, when it comes to extremes, when it comes to what we desire, it's going to be very easy to fall into extremes because Uranus, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all conjunct Uranus. Uranus heightens the disruptance within our world. Sorry, I'm a bit stuffed up from allergies. So the disruptants come forward and we think, well, this is just it. And because we've lived through such a sensitive time already, such a emotionally reeling time, all right? When we look at the Sun, which is in Taurus, which is telling us, to look deeper at our emotional maturity and what we desire. When we're looking at our Mercury, which is urging us to communicate better and focuses on our communication, and Venus, which focuses on our love, our romantic relationships, but also our private emotional self, how we handle ourselves privately, This becomes a time where all the disruptants get pulled out, all the hurts, all the pains, all the angers, all the upsets, all the things that we wanted to say, but we never said, all the times that we bit back our words. So the extremes come forward and we're thinking, can I do this? Can I move forward this way? Do I know what I want? Do I know what I desire? The will during this time is freaking-nomical. I mean, it really is. It's just like there is such a sense of, I will do this. I will succeed. I am heading where I want to be. Don't you dare stand in my way. So that ferocity can take us by surprise, just to let us know. But there's a sense here of really needing and really utilizing that will, really utilizing that determination. Fruition, what we focus on, we bring to fruition within our lives. So that is going to be important. Where we focus our will is where things come to fruition. The flower moon, which is another way of naming the pink moon, this is a time of us blossoming, of us coming out of our shells, of us, watering our desires and our hopes and our dreams, our passion shining a bit more, the erotic coming forward, not just in sexuality, but the sense of the erotic in day-to-day life, the beautiful, the sensual, the part of our world that we have seemed to forgotten. We have seemed to have forgotten. And when this part of our world that we seem to have forgotten comes forward, there's this sense here of, this is the beauty that I was missing. This is the passion that I desired, but I couldn't, put my finger on. So that, with that blossoming into ourselves, into what we want, is going to be so important. I'm just going to steal a drink of water. Okay. So it brings us then to the full moon in Scorpio. And because this full moon is in our sign, it is going to be more intense for us. So always the full moon tells us to surrender to the divine, because that is going to be the power that we feed off of during this lunar cycle, the power of the divine. Excuse me. The power of our emotional way forward, the power of our connections, which is intrinsically important to our heart. So the surrendering to the divine brings us power. And it brings us then to the full moon in Scorpio, which says it's time to release negative energy. And because this moon is having us connect with our inner cycle of growth, it is having us also look at our fears. And this moon is showing us what we need to let go of in order to grow, in order to be the person that we want to be, or to live the way that we want to live. So it's spotlighting our fears. And because we have the full moon square Saturn, we're going to think, I have to handle this all on my own. excuse me, and because we keep on having these areas that come up, okay, with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus being conjunct Uranus, we're going to think, well, but look at all these troubles that I have when I start to connect with other people. Okay, when the unity starts to come in, I'll misspeak, or they'll misspeak, and there's a miscommunication, or there's this sense of I felt that we connected and we didn't, and they were bad mouthing me, and we're going to take this very seriously, because what it's bringing up is the disruptance within our world, within ourselves, and it's saying, look at this on a smaller scale before you have to look at it on a much bigger scale. Now, if we've gotten to the point in our journey where we're like, no, Dane, I'm looking at this on a much bigger scale and it's become more than I can handle, that's when we need to step back and we need to start to connect with divinity, with spirit, because we need to release the negativity, because there is more out there than we could ever have imagined. And it comes to our attention because we are attracting to ourselves what we need in order to survive, what we need in order to thrive. The supermoon has us attracting what is most greatly desired. Now, when we are attracting what is most greatly desired, it doesn't mean that it's always what we most greatly desired. It can be what spirit most greatly desires for our development. So being cognizant of that, being aware of that is going to be important. The emotions run high during this time. That's why we saw with the moon, when the moon first spoke, she said, we have extremes. Yes, because emotions run high, because things aren't always going to be as black and white as we want them to be. White page, black print, everything spelled out, everything clear. No, it's myriad shades of gray. It's the shading, it's the layering, it's the coloring, it's the dimensions that we are seeing at this time. And it's kind of like needing to take a step back and to see how that all comes together and why that all comes together. So there's power and there's beauty here. It leads us to the new moon on the 11th of May in Taurus. And the new moon always has us focusing on a new start, because it's kind of like we wipe the slate clean, right? The new moon is the darkness, it is the quiet, it is the contemplation, it is a fantastic time for meditation, but it has here beginnings. It says a new start is coming and prosperity lies ahead. If we plan things well, if we look at things and are open and honest with ourselves, the prosperity lies ahead. The bounty opens up. We start to see ourselves being able to move forward the way that we need to, the way that we want to. We start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it leads us, we start to see the hope again. And remember, that was the only thing left in Pandora's box, was hope. So it is the most important thing. And then it brings us to the full moon on the 26th of May. And the full moon in Sagittarius says, look at the bigger picture. And because it is an eclipse, okay, conclusions are within reach. Because again, we have the quiet, we have the silence. Emotions, once again, run high, and we are attracting to ourselves what it is that we focus on. And this is because it is a supermoon. So not only is it a supermoon, it is also an eclipse, and a full moon, of course, has its own intense powers. So here we have that intensity coming forward. This is a time where we need to look at the bigger picture, not just what we're aiming on, what we're aiming for, what we're aiming towards is very important, but to take in the surroundings, to take in the movement of it. This isn't the stiff line up, shoot the bows and arrows. This is going to be a fluid understanding that archery can also be a form of powerful combatants. And that's what we're going to see within our lives. It's like taking aim, looking at what we desire, breaking down the barriers is a powerful part of us during this time. And it leads us to our spirit animals, which in April are the wolf spirit and the hawk spirit. So the wolf spirit says, turn knowledge into wisdom. And the hawk spirit says, let spirit be your guide. And I was just going to say, set spirit free. It's like set spirit free so that it can guide you, so that it can lead you forward. That's what spirit really wanted to say during this time. So we turn knowledge into wisdom. Well, that's what maturity is. And a lot of times we just don't honor maturity the way that we should. So as we live, as we grow, the goal is to take the knowledge that we accumulate and morph it into the wisdom that we live by. And that's a very powerful thing and a very beautiful thing. The wolf spirit has us sharpening our intellect, has us looking at things in different ways. But we also become very aware of the hierarchy within the world and where we stand in it. Now, this can be a good thing, this could be a bad thing, but we want a pack during this time. We tend to romanticize the lone wolf. The lone wolf, if you look out in nature, the lone wolf is not the healthiest wolf. It is not the wolf that shares its song. It's the wolf that's usually hyper-stressed and feels alone. And again, we're going to have a tendency to have this feeling come forward because of the full moon being squared Saturn. It's like, handle it, you can do it, don't complain, keep on charging forward. And we're really going to want to do that. But we need people to communicate with. We need people to connect with. If we don't have people, we need to connect with our angels, with our spirit guides, with divinity, and build up that connection. And then start to open up the doors, start to open up our communication to see what leads us forward and where we want to be. So the wolf also brings us freedom and brings us into alignment with our instincts, and our instincts become stronger. The hawk spirit, right? Let spirit be your guide. Well, let spirit be your guide because the hawk spirit is symbolic of the messenger of the spirit world. So here we have messages from the spirit world leading us forward, guiding us forward. Its power, its focus, its clear vision, and its increase in our spiritual awakening and awareness. It leads us then to our spirit animals of May. Now, the spirit animals of May are the beaver and the elk. Now, I don't have an elk, so standing in for the elk is an antelope. So the beaver spirit says, lay a solid foundation. And that's important because it's time to start to trust our own creativity. And it's time to start to collaborate, okay, to cooperate, to open up the doors and see what can be accomplished when we don't just rely on ourselves. So that's going to be tantamount within our hearts during this time. This also leads us to wanting to take the jump start, like wanting to jump forward, wanting to go after something. It's like, just do it, and just do it now. The elk spirit is very interesting because the elk spirit is entering into a time of plenty. Here it says life is speeding up. Yes, well, life is speeding up because we're entering into a time of plenty where everything you need, you will get. It's not everything you want, so that's the difference. It's not everything you want. Everything you need will come your way, not everything you want. So that's going to be a powerful truth and a powerful realization. Now, the chakra message for this time. Let's see what spirit has to say. This is going to be where we need to focus our energy and pay, attention to ourselves. Right here. And this is play. This is the heart chakra. Now, why is play so important? Play can only be done when we feel safe and when stress isn't wearing us down. So if we say, it's been years since I laughed like that. It's been years since I just let myself, go and have fun and be exhilarated in the way that play ignites a child's imagination and moves a child forward. This is saying it's time to look at play, and it's time to take play seriously. So it is said that, play is children's work. That's how they learn how to do things. That's how they develop. That's how they grow. All right? Play is also adults' work. Because if we don't let our hearts and ourselves have time for play, we don't let ourselves grow. We keep ourselves stunted. And so when we're opening up the heart chakra, when we're focusing on the heart chakra here, we need to focus on play, on beauty, on joy, on happiness. And even if it's just sitting down in front of the TV and watching a movie or a TV show that makes you roar with laughter, it's starting there. That would actually be a really good place to start. So let's see what we have to be mindful of during this time, Scorpio. All right, those two. The Chariot and Strength. So it's Cancer and Leo energy. And that's interesting. It's the time frame. So it can be from June 21st to August 22nd. Like, we have to be just mindful of that time frame. That's very interesting. But there is a sense here of needing to charge forward, of somebody who needs to charge forward. Like, it has to be their way. And strength through bullying. Okay? Strength through it's my way or the highway. You will listen to me because I said so. And also, kind of like there could have been a love in your life that was contingent like this. It's like, I am your parent, I am your guardian, I am, your overlord type of thing. It's how they said it. Like, you will listen to me. And this is something that we're breaking against. And that's actually going to be able to start to let us have the play come back into our lives, because it's not having this anger forced over us, like looming over us. It's saying, I get to express, I get to be, I get to laugh, I get to see what joy is. And it leads us to the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is actually being blessed. This is a wish coming forward. This is wishes coming forward within our life, but we're not seeing it. Why? Because we're busy. We're busy. We're busy kind of looking at things, but also being, satisfied with where we are, and or like how we've come forward. There's some sort of sense of satisfaction, or I'm holding on to where I need to be, like this is okay. But there's a door that's going to be opening. There's a sense of beauty and wishes and power and prosperity is around us. Others see it. Others see it within us. We're not seeing it within ourselves. It can be that we start to see it around the next full moon on the 26th of May, but it can also be that it's just harder for us to see. And so during this time, when we embrace play, when we embrace laughter, it's not saying, oh, okay, I'm going to take a break now and listen to the news, because that can depress us instantaneously. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do all these things that promote sorrow. I'm going to do things that start to promote joy and laughter and beauty. And that's what temperance is. It's bringing balance back into our world. Now, it's also the subconscious and the conscious mind coming together and gaining that understanding. And we can see that within the chariot. There's a part of us that subconsciously thinks we are to be doing one thing, and the conscious self thinks we are to be doing something else. So we can always feel in conflict, or somebody is bringing up a subconscious memory within us, and we don't know why we're reacting so strongly, and consciously we want to be doing something else. So the temperance here is finding that balance from the subconscious and the conscious to be able to move forward, to be able to see what we want, to be able to not see what we want, but see what is needed without it being perversed by anybody else. It's like, this is what I need, this is what I desire, these are the emotions that I am embracing, and this is how I am being blessed as I move forward. And it leads us then to the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles, being earth sign energy, connects us to the earth. Gardening, very important. Or just going outside, going for a walk, sitting in the sun, putting up a hammock, laying down, getting some sun, and just letting the warmth soak into our bones. That is going to be very important for us. There's a sense here of beauty and power. There's a sense of prosperity and success. There is a sense of there is more. And so as we come into balance with ourselves, we start to see there is more. And we also start to see, I have to be kind to myself. I can't push myself this way and then just be completely shot afterwards. I have to know my limitations and know my boundaries and know my understanding and open up the door and start to see the interconnectedness of everything. Everything is intertwined. We never stand firmly by ourselves, or fully by ourselves. And that leads us so we're embracing this prosperity, we're embracing this bounty, we're embracing this abundance, and it leads us to the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is, I know what I know. We might not always be right, but the Queen of Swords is the warrior queen. She is the one who cuts through the nonsense. She is the one who speaks the truth when other people are afraid to. She is the one who sees more clearly and goes further. So this is going to be a time where we are cutting through so much of the nonsense that has held us back. We are also focusing on the breath. Now, it can be that we start, doing breath exercises like Wim Hof, who I have linked in the description box below. But we also start to pay attention to the power of our breath, to the power of the air that we breathe, and the words that we speak, and the intentions of our mind. And when things get disrupted, because we do have Mercury conjunct Uranus, when the worst starts coming out, we start to look at it and say, what was meant to be said? What is the motion behind this? What is the desire? What is the focus? You know what? I don't know what this person was thinking. Instead of assumptions, I'm going to ask, which sounds brazen and ballsy, but, is important. And there's a sense here of cutting through so much doubt and hurt, because I'm taking my power. My power isn't for anybody else. It really is for me. And it brings us to this place of unity. It brings us to a place of connection, which sounds funny because the Queen of Swords, we don't usually think of her as the connective person, but she is, because she's the person who knows what she knows, and who isn't afraid to ask the questions, to push the boundaries. She cuts through so much muck and mire. And so here, there is this sense of embracing ideas, embracing desires, embracing transformation, being connected to the world, being connected to what we want, and then we start to look at what we love. And we start to look at love and unity and hope and dreams and healing, and we start to find that love is so important. Our heart chakras are important to us. The people that we're connecting with are important to us. The way that we're connecting, the things that we are writing, the understanding that we are putting forth within the world, the things that we are creating, the art that we are creating, the ideas that are springing forward from us. There's a sense of unity coming. There's a sense of insight coming. There's a sense of power coming. And it leads us to the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is the sense of celebration. It's happiness, it's joy. It can be that during this time, because we're looking at what has held us back, and we're also looking at the sense that I am not stuck. I am not stuck because I constantly transform. I constantly become. And so who I am today does not dictate who I have to be tomorrow and where we have to be moving forward to. So if we're stuck within a relationship, and it feels like I am stuck, what we can see here is like, I start to change me. I start to change what I want. And either that person raises with me or that person falls away. And so here we start to look at maybe even a new start to a relationship, a new way of connecting with the people around us. It doesn't mean that the people have to change. The emotions, the energy vibration starts to change. It becomes something to celebrate. It becomes something joyous. It becomes something powerful. And we embrace that, and it moves us. And the repeat of the number 4 is telling us, take care of your heart. Take care of your body. Take care of your soul. Take care of you. The Emperor claims his throne. We know our power. There's a sense of jubilee. There's a sense of celebration. There's a sense of joy. There's a sense of power. And then the Emperor claims his throne, claims what he desires, sees what it is that he wants, and says, this is me. And this is where I need to be. This is what I want from my life. This is what I'm looking towards and what I'm looking for. The Emperor is not afraid. There's a sense here of power, because oh my gosh, I didn't even see that. You have the Emperor and the Empress. This is not a time to be taken lightly at all. This is not a time where we think, oh my gosh, well, maybe. This is a time of extreme connections. This is a time of intense power. This is a time of insight, ideas, understandings. In relationships, excuse me, we could be meeting. If you're single, and ready to mingle, this is a time where you could be meeting somebody, right? This is a time where you can see your relationship go to the next level. You can see your commitment, if you're with a partner, be reaffirmed in one way or another. You could also start to see, well, you know what? It's being affirmed, but it's being affirmed that this isn't right for me. This is, this moving forward is, we can meet somebody who opens our eyes. Right? It doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. This is a person that we connect with, and we connect with them powerfully and intrinsically and passionately. And it starts to open up our world. And it brings us then to wanting to fight. This makes so much sense. So it brings us to wanting to fight forward, to wanting to charge forward, to wanting to go after what is needed. It's like we are defending our right to embrace our greatness. But also the swords take practice and time and skill to be able to wield and use. They are the only weapon within the tarot. A sword is a weapon, period. End of discussion. It's not really anything else. And so here, as we're charging forward, we're slaying the dragons of our past. We're looking at the hurts and the pains and the angers of and frustrations of our future, of where we are right now and the future that we want and everything we feel like we have to overcome in order to get there. There's a sense of greater understanding of self and what we desire and what we're looking towards and for. And there's a sense of ascending, but also looking at the poison within the world and saying, I see you. I see you. You're not going to sneak up on me, type of deal. And then there's healing. There's love. There's such a sense of love that crowns us. There's such a sense of heart that is with us. And then there's a sense of love and devotion and greater understanding and the sense of peace. And that's what crowns us in our public arena, like this beautiful sense of peace. And I remember one of my teachers telling me that the Queen of Cups is only second to the Empress in their devotion, in their love, in their harmony. And so to have both here in the public arena is so important and is so beautiful. So here, when we are looking at what we desire, it's like before we turn and look at the outside world and say, you should be giving me something, or I'm looking for something here. Turn inward to the heart, turn inward to the soul, turn inward to the power of the emotional self, and see what that brings. Because there is beauty coming forward. There is insight that will change the way that we forever see things. There's a sense of the stars crowning us, of, the heavens being a part of us, of connection, of ideas, of bringing something forward into the world, because the Empress is pregnant. So we're bringing something forward through creation, through understanding, through words and desires and deeper meanings. And it brings us to this power of love, to this healing. And that's what the Queen of Cups is holding. She's holding the Ace of Cups, or even the Holy Grail within her hands. So she's holding this beauty and this healing and this washing away of hurts and pains and doubts and fears. And so here we start to really see that as a powerful part of ourselves. We're washing away so much of the negativity, so much of the drama and the damage and the hurt and the scars that have been a part of us. And we're going to start to see ourselves awakening. We're going to start to see ourselves being emboldened. This is a time where we might find that, again, emotions run high, right? We've seen this within the moon, that extremes are a part of us, that we feel things really, really intently and intensely. And so here, as the waters wash away, it's like we feel things. We feel things intensely. We feel things powerfully. We have to look at things more openly, more honestly for ourselves. And then we start to see where we want to be. Because we start to embrace the heart, to embrace the passion, to embrace what we desire and what we love and what we really want. And then it brings us to the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands is that passion, is that eroticism within life. It's that sense of, I'm going to go after and get it. I'm going to go forward for it. It's being awake within our own existence. And it's a sense of power and insight and ideas and passion and understanding. And that's what we're embracing here. That's what we're getting as a gift. As emotionally, we release so much baggage. Passionately, doors start to open. We start to see things in a different way. We start to see ourselves in a different way. And it's like, oh, that's what I was missing. That's what I wanted. And it brings us then to our moon. Once again. And this is a time where we need balance. Like if we start to see things, because we have the Temperance and we have the Two of Cups, if we start to see things being out of balance, especially within our relationships, within the way we're treating ourselves, we need to pull it in. And we need to, at times, rein ourselves in. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels. Don't let pride get in the way. Balance spirituality with practicality. Your hard work is paying off. Step out of your comfort zone. This is a moon for stepping out of our comfort zone. Hold your vision. Communication is key. Communication is key. We're going to start at the end. Communication is key, and not letting our pride get in the way for us to be able to communicate the way that we need to is going to be paramount during this time and for ourselves. This sense of to let ourselves move forward in what we desire and what we want without letting the ego take over, but also without, sitting there and worrying what everybody will think and how other people will see it. It's like, no, this is me. This is what I think. This is what I believe. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is how I'm moving forward. Not egotistically, but openly and honestly. And then all of a sudden, we'll start to see things more intensely, more powerfully, more beautifully. And it brings us into the balance that is seen within the tarot that Spirit is talking about that is needed. The balance of the spiritual and the practical, the balance of what the soul craves and the play and the joy and the happiness, and then all the responsibilities that come with living. And then we have your hard work is paying off, because your hard work is paying off. This is a time where the emotion is put into things. This is a time where the intensity is seen and your hard work starts to lead you forward. And it brings us then to stepping out of our comfort zone. This isn't a time to be comfortable, Scorpio. This is a time to push the limits. This is a time to look at things differently. This is a time to feel uncomfortable and yet still go after what is deeply wanted within our hearts and within our desires. And it brings us to holding to the vision that we have for our life, holding to the vision of what we want and holding to the vision of who we are. And then the communication is key. The communication of where we want to be, the communication of who we are, how we see ourselves, but also just that sense of not thinking, I know what you're thinking and you know what I'm thinking, but having this communication, having kind of the harder conversations, that starts to change us, because it starts to empower us, it starts to embolden us, we start to look at things differently, and we're not held back by assumptions. It's like, I'm going for the answers and I'm going straight to the source. And people can be insulted, but be like, listen, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I just want to make sure that you said this, right? And I'm going to summarize what I heard. This is what you were saying. This is what is needed. This is, and if we do that, if we really open up the doorways of communication, there's power there. And it brings us to our subconscious spirit, to our subconscious, moon message, which says the energy is gaining momentum. The energy within our lives, within ourselves, is gaining momentum. It's gaining power and inspiration, and it leads us to the unexpected. This is not a time where we'll be able to map everything out. This is a time where we have to say, let's see what happens. Let's see how things go. I will expect the unexpected, and I will not be disappointed. It's like the best laid plans will be shaken. This leads us to our subconscious chakra message, which is balance. Again, the balance comes forward. This is the root chakra. At the root of us, we need our balance. We need our stability. We need our security. We need the sense of the masculine and the feminine coming together to be the harmony of self. It brings us then to our subconscious person message, which is the King of Cups. The King of Cups, this is us. And this is knowing I cannot rule anybody else. I only rule myself. I do so with dignity. I do so with pride. I do so with integrity. And I move myself forward. And I open up the doors. There's a great power. So it's very interesting. There's such a power right here, Scorpio, for us in the individual. We hold so much power that we hadn't expected. But what there also is in this time is not only the power of the individual, but the power of the collective. And so individually we stand in our power, but coming together with our pack, with our, the wolf pack, with the sense of community and understanding and hopes and dreams and desires, and even just our own clan, connecting with our family and our friends, that is so important, and that means so much. And it brings us then to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Six of Swords. Now, because there is such a strong emphasis towards love, for some of us, there's going to be a partner that we have, or a lover that comes into our lives that is from across the seas, okay? Or, yeah, foreign. They could be foreign. Now, they could be, if you're in the United States, they could be from another state, but I see them as, like, they've crossed water, okay? This is a sense also of being able to move forward, taking our ideas, taking what we want, knowing that emotionally the voyage isn't going to be as stable as we want it to be, but it is going to be necessary. It is going to lead us to something that has been desperately wanted for such a long time. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the beauty and the power of this pink supermoon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio, and may you have a blessed moon.